example of a mechatronic system. It contains a user interface consisting of many switches, LEDs, buttons, knobs, and a custom LED display to get information to and from the user. It consists of various motors and mechanisms to load, tension, and feed the tape. There is a magnetic read-write head that retrieves and stores analog video signals to and from the tape. And there are servo motors to accurately and smoothly spin the head and transport the tape at desired speeds. Finally, there's a power supply and printed circuit boards full of analog and digital electronics to control everything. So we'll look at some of the components at different stages of operation. This is a VHS cassette tape. On one end of the tape, there's a release button that the VCR has to engage in order to open the lid. So that's one of the first steps involved with loading the cassette. At that point, capstans come behind the tape, pulling it out and loading it into the proper tape path in the machine. Then the drive motor engages the sprockets and feeds the tape at the proper speed. When a VHS cassette is loaded into the machine, various things happen. First, the machine automatically pulls the cassette in. Then it actually opens the lid, pulls the tape out, and routes it around and through various components in the tape path. Here's another view of the tape being loaded. And when a tape is ejected, the mechanisms return the magnetic tape back into the cartridge and then eject the cartridge out of the machine. Here's a look at the bottom of the VCR as a tape is loaded. So this mechanism is driven by one motor, and multiple functions happen that load the tape and feed it through its path. You can also see the read-write head motor spinning here. When a tape is played, the read-write head comes up to speed, and then the tape drive motor engages and starts transporting the tape at a very constant speed past the read-write head. Hitting the play button. So again, the read-write head is spinning at a very high speed, and the tape is being fed very accurately by the servo motor. Here's a top view of the VCR when the play button is pressed. You can see the read-write head comes up to speed, a mechanism tensions the tape across these capstans and this idler wheel, and the tape is being fed by the servo motor at a very constant speed across the read-write head. Here's a close-up of the read-write head. And it spins at high speed, and it's mounted at an angle relative to the tape. The tape is fed along the perimeter of the read-write head and actually rubs against the head as the head spins. So the read-write head can either read previously recorded magnetic information on the tape, or it can record analog video directly onto the tape. The lines around the head, there's several sensor lines that do the reading or recording, that pick up or deposit the magnetic information as the head spins. So the information is actually laid down on the tape in a helical type pattern. So when the play button is hit, you can see the read-write head come up to speed, the tape tensioned, and now the tape being fed at a slower speed across the head. And again, these lines, as the tape runs around, either read or write magnetic information on the tape. Here's a close-up of the motors and mechanisms that load a tape and feed the tape through the necessary path. This motor turns a worm gear that provides enough force to pull the tape into the machine. And this motor drives a belt drive, which drives two gear drives which coordinate the motions involved with extracting the magnetic tape from the cassette and feeding it through the necessary path in the machine. So here's inserting a tape.